Imagine for a moment that you are playing a game of chess. Every move matters, every position has meaning, and the smallest piece on the board can sometimes decide the fate of the entire game. For years, the world looked at Pakistan as just another piece on this great chessboard of global politics. But in 2025, the game has changed. Suddenly, the West finds itself looking at Pakistan not as a silent spectator, but as a piece that can tilt the balance of power. Today, I want to share with you a story not of statistics or reports, but of why Pakistan has become indispensable. A story of geography that shapes trade, of leadership that inspires millions, of resources that the world can no longer ignore, and of resilience that has kept this nation standing strong against every challenge. This is not about the past, it is about the future. When you listen closely, you will see that this is not just Pakistan's story, it is also Europe's story, America's story, and in fact the world's story, because the decisions made in Islamabad today have the power to shape markets in London, policies in Brussels, and strategies in Washington tomorrow. So stay with me till the very end of this talk, because what I will share is not just about why the West needs Pakistan. It is about why the world cannot afford to miss the opportunity of working with a nation that sits at the very crossroads of history. And once you see the bigger picture, you will realize that Pakistan is not a question mark, it is an answer. Pakistan's location has always been its most valuable asset, and in 2025, this reality has become clearer than ever to the world, especially the West. At the heart of South Asia, connected to the Middle East on one side, Central Asia on another, and with direct access to the Arabian Sea, Pakistan sits at the very crossroads of global trade and energy routes. This geographic position transforms the country into a natural bridge linking three critical regions, each with immense importance for economic growth, security, and energy supply. For centuries, empires and global powers have looked at this region as a gateway. But today, with shifting alliances and new supply chain challenges, Pakistan's position is no longer just strategic, it is essential. Europe's search for diversified trade routes after disruptions in Russia and instability in the Middle East is forcing policymakers to recognize Pakistan's significance. Through Gwadar Port, Pakistan connects directly to the Arabian Sea, shortening the distance for global shipments. For Western companies looking to access markets in Central Asia and Western China, there is no shorter, safer, and more cost-effective route than through Pakistan. This makes it an unavoidable partner in the race for economic influence. Security and defense considerations also increase the value of this geographic position. Afghanistan, Iran, India, and China are all direct neighbors, and Pakistan has managed to balance its relations while maintaining stability within its borders. For the West, which faces rising threats from terrorism, cyber warfare, and shifting alliances, Pakistan provides a critical buffer and a partner capable of securing a region that has historically been volatile. This means that without Pakistan's cooperation, many Western strategies in Asia cannot succeed. Furthermore, Pakistan's location aligns with one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in modern history, the Belt and Road Initiative. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor runs through Pakistan, connecting China to the Arabian Sea in ways that completely alter global trade dynamics. For Europe, which seeks to maintain economic resilience in a multipolar world, engaging with Pakistan is not just a choice, but a necessity to remain relevant in this new trade order. By 2025, the West has come to realize that maps are not just lines and borders, they are pathways of power. And on this map, Pakistan stands at the intersection where global energy, trade, and security meet. Without its cooperation, no Western strategy in Asia can be complete. And this truth is shaping the way Europe and America engage with Islamabad today. When we talk about Pakistan's importance in 2025, one cannot ignore the fact that it is the only Muslim-majority country with nuclear capability, a status it achieved through the vision, determination, and brilliance of Dr. Abdul Qadeer Khan. His work in the nuclear field transformed Pakistan from a vulnerable state into a country that commands respect on a global stage. This achievement was not just about military defense. It was about securing sovereignty and ensuring that no external power could dictate Pakistan's future. For the West, this reality has become more significant in today's world, where nuclear deterrence still plays a decisive role in maintaining global balance. In an era where new nuclear states are being closely monitored and global powers are deeply concerned about proliferation, Pakistan's nuclear capability stands as a reminder of its strength. Unlike many developing nations, Pakistan does not merely rely on alliances or international guarantees for its defense. It has its own shield. This changes the equation for the West because engaging with Pakistan is no longer a matter of choice, it is a matter of necessity. No strategic framework in Asia can ignore a nuclear power of over 240 million people positioned at the heart of South and Central Asia. Beyond deterrence, Pakistan's nuclear program has inspired pride among its people and given the country a voice in international forums. The West understands that cooperation, rather than confrontation, is the wiser approach when dealing with a state that holds such capabilities. In 2025, as tensions rise globally between blocs and rival alliances, Pakistan's nuclear arsenal provides stability in South Asia by preventing large-scale conflict with its neighbor, India. This balance of power indirectly serves Western interests too, because a nuclear war in South Asia would have devastating consequences for the global economy and environment. Moreover, nuclear capability has indirectly strengthened Pakistan's bargaining power in areas beyond defense. The West realizes that Pakistan is not a nation that can be pressured easily into submission. Instead, it must be engaged as an equal partner. In energy, trade, counterterrorism, and diplomacy, Pakistan's nuclear strength gives it a seat at the table. It forces Western leaders to consider Pakistan not just as a regional actor, but as a global stakeholder. By 2025, Dr. Abdul Qadeer Khan's legacy has outgrown the boundaries of science and defense. It symbolizes Pakistan's resilience, its ability to rise against odds, and its determination to shape its own destiny. This is why the West now acknowledges that any future order in Asia cannot exclude a nuclear-armed Pakistan. Pakistan's natural resources have long been underestimated. But in 2025, the West is realizing that the country holds vast untapped reserves of oil, gas, coal, and minerals that are critical for the future of global energy security. As the world transitions away from an overdependence on Middle Eastern suppliers, Energy diversification has become a priority for Europe and America. Pakistan, with its proven oil and gas fields, its shale reserves, and its strategic proximity to the Arabian Sea, is emerging as a promising player in the global energy market. The growing instability in traditional energy hubs has only amplified the importance of Pakistan's resources, making it an attractive option for Western investments and partnerships. For decades, Pakistan's potential in the energy sector was sidelined due to political instability, limited infrastructure, and a lack of international focus. But now the dynamics are shifting. Western companies and governments are exploring opportunities in Pakistan, not only for oil and gas exploration, but also for renewable energy cooperation. The thorough coal reserves, among the largest in the world, provide another critical dimension to Pakistan's energy wealth. For energy-hungry economies, especially in Europe, that faced shocks from disrupted gas supplies after geopolitical conflicts, these reserves represent a lifeline that cannot be ignored. The strategic location of Pakistan further enhances the value of these resources. Energy pipelines from Central Asia and Iran are designed to pass through Pakistani territory, connecting resource-rich regions with global markets. This makes Pakistan not just a holder of energy wealth, but also a key transit hub in the energy supply chain. The West understands that access to Pakistan's geography and cooperation in developing its energy sector can reduce their vulnerabilities to disruptions elsewhere. Another dimension is Pakistan's growing role in the emerging renewable energy space. With abundant sunlight, strong wind corridors, and hydropower potential, Pakistan has the capacity to become a significant player in clean energy production. Western investors seeking to balance their environmental commitments with energy needs see Pakistan as an untapped frontier where both traditional and renewable energy opportunities coexist in 2025. This energy equation is drawing the West closer to Islamabad. The realization that Pakistan is not just a consumer, but a potential supplier and transit partner is reshaping global strategies. Natural wealth that was once overlooked is now a decisive factor in why the West cannot afford to ignore Pakistan's role in the energy future. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has become one of the most transformative developments in South Asia, and by 2025, its significance has extended far beyond the region, directly impacting Western strategic and economic interest. Running from China's western Xinjiang province to Pakistan's Gwadar Port on the Arabian Sea, this project is not just a collection of highways, of railways, and pipelines, but a gateway that connects East Asia with global trade routes. For Europe and the West, which are seeking resilience in their supply chains and alternatives to unstable maritime choke points, Pakistan's role in this corridor has turned into an indispensable asset. Gwadar Port, situated at the mouth of the Persian Gulf, is central to this equation. While much of the world's oil and trade passes through the Strait of Hormuz, Gwadar offers an alternative entry and exit point, reducing dependence on congested and vulnerable routes. This matters to the West because security risks in the Middle East can no longer be ignored, and diversification of maritime access has become a strategic necessity. By linking Gwadar to China and Central Asia, Pakistan has positioned itself as a key transit hub for goods, energy, and technology with ripple effects across global trade networks. The infrastructure built under this project has also created new opportunities for Western businesses. Improved roads, energy plants, industrial zones, and digital connectivity have turned Pakistan into a potential hub for logistics and manufacturing. In a world where efficiency and speed of delivery matter more than ever, companies in Europe and America are looking at Pakistan not as a peripheral economy, but as a central link in future global trade patterns. For the West, CPEC is also about influence and balance. As China deepens its footprint in Pakistan, Europe and America cannot afford to stay absent. Engagement with Pakistan has become a way to remain relevant in a region where the Belt and Road Initiative is shaping infrastructure and supply chains. Ignoring Pakistan would mean conceding strategic space entirely to China, something Western policymakers are unwilling to do. By 2025, Pakistan's position in CPEC is no longer seen as a bilateral project between Islamabad and Beijing, but as a global artery that affects energy security, trade access, and geopolitical influence. This realization has pushed the West to recognize that cooperation with Pakistan is not optional, but essential if they wish to maintain their share in the evolving order of global connectivity. In 2025, global politics has entered a stage where alliances are shifting rapidly, and the West has been forced to reassess its traditional partners. Relations with Russia have deteriorated sharply, creating a new era of tension in Europe's east, while instability continues to plague the Middle East, making energy security and political stability far more uncertain than before. At the same time, India, once seen by the West as a natural counterbalance to China, has struggled to live up to expectations due to internal political divides, economic challenges, and increasing criticism over its human rights record. In this changing landscape, Pakistan has emerged as a nation that offers not only stability, but also strategic alignment, compelling Western powers to re-evaluate their approach toward Islamabad. The West's reliance on India as a long-term partner has proven less effective than anticipated. India's unpredictable policies, strained ties with neighbors, and growing tilt toward nationalist politics have raised doubts in European capitals about its reliability as a stable partner. Pakistan, on the other hand, has maintained a balanced approach, managing its relations with China, the United States, the Middle East, and even Russia, despite global polarization. This ability to keep dialogue open across competing blocs has elevated Pakistan's diplomatic value in 2025, positioning it as a bridge rather than a pawn in global conflicts. Europe's immediate concerns about energy diversification and secure trade routes have further highlighted Pakistan's relevance. The corridor linking Central Asia to the Arabian Sea, the growing connectivity through Gwadar Port, and the possibility of integrating Pakistan into wider trade frameworks all make it a natural partner for Europe's strategic future. Western policymakers recognize that ignoring Pakistan at this stage would mean limiting their own access to some of the most dynamic regions in the world. Another factor is Pakistan's resilience in the face of challenges. Despite years of political instability and economic struggles, the country has shown the capacity to bounce back, driven by its young population, strategic partnerships, and strong defense capabilities. For the West, which is searching for credible allies in Asia, This resilience signals long-term reliability. By 2025, the convergence of these circumstances, strained ties with traditional partners, energy insecurity, and the need for new diplomatic channels has made Pakistan an unavoidable choice for Western engagement. What once seemed like an option is now recognized as a necessity, as the West seeks partners who can help balance power, secure supply chains, and stabilize a rapidly changing world order. In 2025, Pakistan's rising influence on the global stage is not only tied to its geography, resources, and strategic projects, but also to the figures who have shaped its image and leadership. Personalities matter in international relations, and Pakistan has produced individuals whose contributions and popularity have made the country more relevant in the eyes of the world. Among them, Imran Khan stands out as one of the most recognized political figures, known not only for his leadership, but also for his international appeal. His image as a former sports icon and his strong political voice have made him one of the most popular personalities globally, symbolizing Pakistan's resilience, independence, and ability to stand firm against pressure. Even after leaving office, his influence continues to shape Pakistan's narrative abroad, as his popularity gives him unmatched recognition among global audiences. In the realm of defense and security, General Asim Munir has played a significant role in strengthening Pakistan's military position and maintaining stability at a time when regional tensions are high. His role as the Chief of Army Staff during a critical period reflects the institutional strength of Pakistan's armed forces, which continue to be regarded as one of the most capable in the region. And policymakers recognize that Pakistan's security leadership holds the keys to stability in South Asia, making figures like him central to their engagement strategies. Beyond politics and defense, Dr. Abdul Qadeer Khan's legacy remains unparalleled. As the father of Pakistan's nuclear program, his contribution ensured that the country stood as a formidable power that could not be coerced. Even after his passing, his name carries weight, and his vision is remembered as a turning point in Pakistan's journey toward becoming a recognized nuclear state. His work is not just a matter of history, but a constant reminder to the world of Pakistan's scientific and strategic strength. Together, these figures embody different dimensions of Pakistan's influence: popular leadership, military strength, and scientific achievement. For the West, engaging with Pakistan in 2025 is not only about geography or resources, but also about dealing with a nation whose leadership figures continue to command respect, popularity, and credibility on the global stage. These individuals have shaped how Pakistan is perceived, and their influence ensures that the country is treated as a partner of significance rather than a peripheral actor in global politics. Ladies and gentlemen, as we reflect on why the West suddenly needs Pakistan in 2025, the picture becomes very clear. Pakistan is not merely a nation defined by borders. It is a crossroads of global trade, a nuclear power that commands respect, a land rich in resources, a vital link in the Belt and Road, and a country whose leadership and people have shown resilience through history's toughest challenges. The West has realized that without Pakistan, no strategy for stability, security, or growth in Asia can be truly successful. This moment in history is not just about Pakistan's rise, but about how the world chooses to work together. The choices made today, whether to build partnerships, respect sovereignty, and share opportunities, will shape the decades ahead. Pakistan stands ready not as a silent player, but as an active contributor to peace, progress, and a balanced global order. To the distinguished audience here, the message is simple. Look beyond the headlines and see Pakistan for what it truly is, a nation of potential, resilience, and strategic importance. The West and Pakistan working together can create a future where trade flows freely, energy is secure, and peace becomes a shared responsibility rather than a distant dream. I wish you all good luck in your own endeavors and thank you sincerely for giving your time and attention to this important discussion. May the path ahead bring prosperity, understanding, and stronger bridges between Pakistan and the world. Thank you.